Okay, folks, here's a quick review of the Luke Skywalker figure that was produced by Hasbro as a part of the Star Wars The Black Series line of 6-inch scale action figures. Okay, this is the second Luke Skywalker figure in this scale to be produced with this new Black Series line, with the first being Luke Skywalker wearing his X-Wing pilot's uniform. This time around, we see Luke wearing the outfit from his Cloud City lightsaber duel with Darth Vader. Alright, most of the joints on the figure were easy to move straight out of packaging. However, the elbows and left shoulder were frozen in place, but they are slowly beginning to free up with repeated movements. Luke has articulation in the neck, shoulders, elbows, wrists, waist, hips, knees, and ankles. Luke's head can spin 360 degrees and look up and down, but the wrist articulation does seem to be a bit hindered due to the sleeves of his jacket. And the ankles also have a rocker joint, and the knees are double jointed. All in all, I feel that getting some good dynamic poses with this figure, it shouldn't be a problem. Paint apps were for the most part done fairly well. I did find errors on the barrel of his blaster pistol, and I'll show you what those looked like later on in the review, and his belt buckle was somewhat smudged. One thing that I do wish Hasbro had chosen to do with this figure would be to give him a removable right hand. However, that's just it's not a major issue for me, and I feel that it shouldn't be a deal breaker for Star Wars fans interested in getting this figure. Now, I'm not really a big fan of how Luke's face looks on this figure either. Some say it's a good representation of Mark Hamill's face, but I'll be honest, I have to disagree with that assessment. And after reviewing my Empire Strikes Back Blu-ray, I have to say that this is a mediocre facial likeness of Mark Hamill at best. I was also disappointed to find that the blaster holster on his right hip was warped, and the left hand also appears to be cracked around the hinge joint on his left wrist. So it would appear that Hasbro still has quality control issues that need to be addressed. So let me pause here, zoom in, and I'm going to give you a closer look as to what Luke Skywalker looks like. Okay. All right, Luke did come with some accessories, so let me take a break here, and I'll show you what those look like. Okay, up first, here's his blaster pistol, and I believe this is a Blastech DL44. Now, as I mentioned previously, this fits into a holster on Luke's right hip. Unfortunately, the holster was warped, and that prevented the blaster from fitting in as smoothly as it normally should, and the blaster, it just wasn't painted very well. The holster, it does have a strap on it to keep the blaster securely in place, just like we saw in The Empire Strikes Back. Okay, next up, here is his lightsaber. Now, just like with the previous Luke Skywalker figure in this scale, you can remove the blade and pose just the hilt on a belt clip near his left hip, or you can have him hold the lightsaber in its activated form in either of his hands. He does hold on to the lightsaber and blaster fairly well, and the right hand has an exposed trigger finger, and that allows you to get poses with the blaster drawn. And here is a look at the lightsaber hilt without the lightsaber blade attached. Okay, and I just wanted to take a moment and show you the errors that were on this blaster pistol. And as you can see, the barrel, it's not painted correctly. And I also just noticed that the blaster has a warped barrel on it. And once again, I have to say that Hasbro, they've really got some serious quality control issues going on, and they really should think about looking into them. Okay, what I'm going to do now is a quick 360 of Luke for you and let you see what he looks like from all sides. So here he is from the front. Okay, here's Luke from the left-hand side. Okay, here is Luke from the rear. Okay, here is Luke Skywalker from the right-hand side. Finally, here we are once again facing forward. So overall, I'd have to say that this figure's, it's okay. The paint apps are done pretty well, and it's not overly atrocious, but the facial sculpt, I have to be honest, it's just not cutting it for me. The quality control issues were also a big letdown for me on this figure, and I'm going to have to see what I can do to fix that left wrist joint being cracked. Quality control issues aside, I'd have to say that this figure should get a good bordering on great recommendation. And I hate saying that, as I was really looking forward to getting this figure, as I've always liked this outfit on Luke Skywalker. Alright, so on that note, take care and stay tuned for my next review. Have a good one.